Good morning and welcome to Day 7 of the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. It's finals day as the North American Titan meets the European underdog in the men's division. The US come into this match undefeated through pool and bracket play, whereas the Italians had to fight their way through pre-quarters to be here. Stick around and settle in as we bring you this great match from the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships.
It's exciting to be here at this final day of play here at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. It's a beautiful day. These teams have been looking for this matchup for a long time now. They're preparing for months, years to get to this point. The USA has advanced undefeated through the bracket play, dominating the opposition and not having any struggles in this tournament. Italy struggling early, losing a bunch of games, particularly to Japan and Germany, but then fighting back late in the tournament, beating both of those teams in the pre-quarters, quarters, and the semi-finals to be here today, put themselves in position to fight for a gold medal in the final today.
The toss has already happened. Italy won the toss, chose defense. Their first win of the game. USA chose to go downwind, which is left to right from our perspective right here.
Absolutely, it's an interesting one. Whether or not you choose offense or defense at the start of the game is something that people talk about and have a bit of a chat about, but we'll see how it works out for the Italians here. USA, 7 players on the line, looking absolutely ready to go, and the Italians amping themselves up, getting fired, getting ready as they call a line and put their players out.
Good to see. I'm really excited to see a European team here in the final against the USA. Very different styles of play, and as you were saying, very different paths to the final. It's going to be a really interesting game. See if the Italians can come to challenge the so far undefeated USA.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree that the Italians are the underdogs. But we love an underdog story here in Australia. Let's see if they can bring it. They're a passionate team. They're fired up, and they're going to be riding their emotions here. If they can get some scores on the board early, they'll be in it and aggressive and looking to play their hype game. And speaking of the USA coaches, and they'll be looking to absolutely stop that. They'll be looking to limit the Italians' energy, limit their early scores, and make them grind for it.
So the first pull is up. Italy puts it out the sideline to start with, and it was about halfway, so it looks like the US may be taking it from the sideline instead of from the brick.
Yep, it'll be an interesting choice here. Interesting difference between USA-EU rules and WU24 rules. Under USA-EU, you can take it from the center where it crossed, but they're taking it to the brick here as Chartok brings it in the center. Goes wide, finds Olsen. USA coming out in a horizontal stack with a handle weave up the center here. Meckler with the disc. Charkot unable to get open in the lane there. Reset to Olsen. USA working through their 3. Back to Chartok. USA stalling at about halfway here. They've started to engage their cutters. Looks like there's a call on the mark here.
USA just playing with patience. Recycling, no panic in their play at all.
Absolutely. Halfway the disc here is leading pass, well collected. Olsen doing what he's got to do. As the shot goes long, he's got a player under it. Can he reach it? And that's a great opening goal from White. He struck it down there. And USA have opened strong. 1-0 with an offensive hold, free of turns.
Good stuff by the USA. Now it's the Italians' turn to work it downfield on their offense. It really has been a very exciting tournament so far. This men's pool has had ups and downs and turnarounds, three-way ties, first point games, everything on the field. It could have really gone anyone's way for a whole bunch of games, and we saw a lot of times where, particularly for this Italian team, teams that beat them in the rounds, they end up beating in the quarters and semis. That's a way to bring it out at just the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to know that they went down to Japan and Germany, often considered two real powerhouse teams. Japan with a bit of a different style of play that European teams don't get to see a lot. Would have done a lot of film study for that one and learned a lot from their first matchup and able to just bring out the win in that quarterfinal there. And the Italians dominant in the semi-final, getting up over Germany 15-7. Italians with the downwind offense here.
So we're on to the Italians on offense. Starts off with Semprini Casari first. He's one of the 19-year-old players on the team, apparently. There's 4 19-year-olds on the Italian team. Quite a young team, but still quite experienced, the amount that they've been able to get world's experience and Europeans experience so far. Okay, so recycling with the handlers, slowly making it up the field. Lots of time for the reset there. Back to Vagilavello. Big passes, a big gainer up the field with some US on defense.
Looks like the USA are doing well to execute their defensive strategy of not letting the Italians look for a pool play and a quick 1-2-3 score. The Italians absolutely having to grind this and reset a lot, but they're doing it effectively at the moment. It'll be tough to see if they can hold this up over the full 100 minutes of this final.
So pick called, restarted cleanly. Their captain, Tonelli with the frisbee, moving it easily. Defense is tight, but they're finding the comfortable resets. This is very mature play from both teams so far. Laffy with the frisbee, quick swing. Oh, option here, it goes high, no worries. No panic outside the end zone. Back and forth.
Looks like they're spreading a bit here. They're using their athleticism to get them open on the dumps. They've got to maintain it here.
Oh, and great grab there from Italy to gather that down under pressure from the defense. That was great heads-up defense from the US, but still the Italians were able to pluck that out of the sky for their first point as well. So far, no turns in the game.
Yeah, great to see. This is the kind of elite level ultimate that we expect from this final here. The Italians, though, not looking quite as open there. We could see there were a few dumps, a few inside breaks, particularly right at the front there. USA players coming off, having a look there, nearly getting that block and in turn leaving his player open for an easy score. So sometimes you got to take it. Sometimes you got to have a look for a block there, but not getting it and getting a little bit punished. So USA coming out on offense here. They'll be looking at another clean downwind hold. So it's going to be interesting to see which team is able to find a chink in the armor and get that first block of the game. As USA trots out the same offensive line here. They've been in town for nearly a week prior to this tournament, not having any training camps previously to that. So it's given a lot of time to bond together as a team, play a lot of board games and build that competitive spirit both on the field and on the cardboard. So they're going to be working efficiently and effectively as a unit, having had time to adjust through all their games in the tournament and experience the tight defense that a lot of other teams have been able to bring and work through it.
Oh, that pull landed just in the very back corner of the end zone, within millimeters.
Yeah, just sliding off onto that line there, so that'll be brought in at the cone as USA looks to work it out of this end zone here. Sadok with the disc. Looks for an around break. Italians put a lot of pressure here, guarding these unders. Sadok gets the disc again. Looks off that shot. The wind today a bit more unpredictable than it's been in previous days. It's almost going right to left at this point. We can see those flags going the other way. And really going to mess up throws in both directions. As we see Williams unable to complete that catch, and our first turnover of the game, giving Italy a break opportunity here.
Oh, and the first passing contest is contested, taken down by the US straight away to regather after that turn.
Absolutely. White getting it back for his team, really saving their bacon. Sadok with the disc. Back to Williams. Stationary. US spread downfield, working out of a loose vertical stack. Sadok floats that one. Enough separation there. Meckler with the disc. Resets inside. Bray goes up line, finds Meckler. They're looking for an open score in the front of the end zone, and they've really muscled that one in there.
But some contention. It's not clear exactly what happened there.
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot of contact on the catch. He did manage to get a full arm around that one.
I didn't see that you didn't coach.
I'm going to the game.
So you're saying you bobbled it, so you didn't catch it until you got
I had
there?
control until I landed in the end zone.
Okay, so I was just watching your feet. I couldn't tell whether you had bobbled it or not. So
I don't know if you drop it and then catch it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
I didn't have control till I was on the ground.
Okay, go.
So it looked like he did bobble that catch. Italian defense putting a lot of pressure on there, making that catch a bit difficult. Forcing the bobble, but it looked like he gained control. They were just trying to work out when control was established, because if he's established control of the disc before he's crossed the line, then it's not in and USA have to go again. But if he's established control after he's crossed the line and he's in the end zone, then that's a goal.
In this case, it was a lucky bobble, because if he'd caught it cleanly the first time, he would have been outside the end zone, still one more pass to make. So that was a bit of a missed opportunity for the Italians. They got the DB, forced, where they really pressured D on the handlers, forced a bit of a wayward huck, but then Italy just weren't able to hold on to it.
Yeah, it's great work. I mean, they'll be happy with themselves for getting that block, but that's not something that's going to be happening a lot through this game. USA known for their clinical offense there. As the wind rapidly changing, only consistent that it is coming from behind the camera, going across the field there, clearly causing that one to sit up. So different wind that we've seen all throughout this tournament. Teams absolutely going to have to adjust there.
That was a fantastic pull. Captain Laffey taking the first pass there, but letting the difficult catch drop. Good pulls are so important. It makes it so much more difficult if you have to play from the back of your end zone. Okay, great work by the Italians to get it off the line there, and they put one up. Let's see. There's two there, but the Italian has position, and he's in. Great grab by Tonelli, the captain.
That's an incredible grab, incredible throw. That's exactly what they're looking for going that way. He's launched it big. He's got exactly the right edge on it there to hold it long, float out there, give his captain the chance to absolutely make a big play on it. And we see the Italians getting around him, getting amped.
And you see him taking a couple of slow steps there, potentially making sure that he's got position on the American defender, making it hard for the American to get to the disc.
Absolutely. Warina making a great bid there, getting in amongst it. And that's 2-1 Italy, all offensive holds so far. It's great to see that the Italians were able to pull it off that line there. The pull came down and it was far on that far sideline, and they worked it down the sideline for a while, but a number of crafty break throws, able to advance it off the sideline, give them a little more space to work with, and then a big long shot successfully completed for the goal.
So
USA setting out that same offensive line here, backing in their system, backing in their connections.
So they're off with the next pull, and it's another big one. This one's drifting. Will it stay in? Yeah, quite nice pull into the edge.
Well collected by Meckler. Going the other way there. A lot of patience. Back to Meckler. Goes and finds Bain. It's a bit of bump on the mark, but happy to play with that one, Barker.
Looks like there was a pick called. Bit of hesitation as to whether that was actually a call happening or not.
I think it might be a discussion around not dropping of a stall count on the mark
I see.
after a violation. an infraction.
So he's bumped it by that one, and then I guess if he's called contact, that's not a stoppage of play, and they'll keep going, but the count does need to be resetting to 0. If that doesn't happen, there'll be a violation, which is a stoppage, as Italy gets a short field turn here, looking to punish with an upwind.
Italy with the disc. Min gets the first pass off, working quickly for Italy, getting the upwind break.
That's amazing. Then look at them. They're coming out fire. They got a lot of energy. They got passion in their blood here. This is exactly what the USA wanted to limit there, but that was an interesting jump cut here as a final round. The USA, bit of heads down, but they've got that quiet fire.
And Vagliavello with the score there. That's pretty exciting for Italy. USA playing safe offense, looking for the dump when there was nothing on downfield, but the Italian defender getting that big long arm out and managing to get the D.
Yeah, clearly a great read on the play there. Athleticism to stay with his mark and then just seeing what's coming, seeing that early and batting it away.
And towing it in on the end zone there.
It's great work. Italy in a great position here. They're now on defense. They've taken a break and they've managed to punish the US for a mistake, something they weren't able to do. USA unable to get a block with their defensive line so far. Only able to regather once with their O-line.
So Italy with the frisbee, ready to pull. Despite the youth of this team, they've had quite a bit of experience already, winning a few competitions in European Championships and even World Junior Championships since 2013.
Italy, one of the stronger teams in the European region, often going up successfully against teams traditionally loved like Germany. USA off to the races here. Williams with a disc. One of the 2 returners on this USA team, having represented 2 years ago in London. The hooded bandit himself, Keegan North on the sideline here. Resets back to Williams in the center. USA having opened in a horizontal stack, advanced that down the field, and now collapsing into a vertical, giving them space on the sides of the field rather than under and deep.
Call there was a pick. USA restarts.
Chartok with a disc. Resets to Williams. Back to Chartok. Great defensive switch by the Italians there. Nullifying that thing to Williams as he dances around and shoots long. Finds his man in North. North able to work his mark, do what he's got to do, and get that throw off around.
I have to say that was great D by the Italian defender there. It took them 2 big cuts before they could get free on the 3rd attempt. Great coverage, getting rid of all of the first options that were given there by the US.
Absolutely. And that's a clean offensive hold from the US. They've leveled up the scores 3-3. The Italians will be receiving the disc here, going right to left.
So much fun. I love these kind of matchups. It's not very often I get to see Italy play USA, let alone in a final.
Absolutely. I think this crossover between the North American style and the European styles, it's not something we get to see a lot often. These final matches dominated by North American teams, so it's amazing to see a European team power through and really challenge the US early in this game.
As we rewatch that score. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the excitement of this division and the interesting 3-way ties. It ended up that the US and Canada had a North American matchup in the quarterfinal for this. Canada getting knocked out, and best they could do was 5th place. Up.
Looks like the pulls come up there, and offside has been signaled.
Offside's called against the USA.
Yeah, that'll be because the players have crossed the end zone line before the pool was in the air. On this first infraction of the rules called by the other team, it'll simply be a repull. On a subsequent infraction, the offensive team will start with a disc at halfway. So look to be a bit more disciplined now.
Interestingly, I'm not sure that was the pull that you wanted to call a offside on. It looked like it went out quite early, so it was quite out on the side of the field, almost never in for the entire length. Probably my bad perspective from the sideline, though. I know that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, look, it landed on the line down in the end zone there, so it would have been a brick regardless. But at least this one's going to keep the USA on their toes, and they've bricked it again. So no worries.
On the line is out.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if it doesn't come back in, lands on the line, it's out all the way, Italy would have had the opportunity to bring the disc in where it crossed the line. But either way, they've taken the brick, and this will allow them to set up a nice horizontal stack. 3 handlers behind, 3 cutters deep.
Semprini Cesari with the disc. Immediate dump, just getting it moving, letting the play establish itself. Tonelli playing an important role so far, as you'd expect from the captain. The US doing a good job of keeping the Italians back in their handler positions. It's a tiny bit of pressure on that, but a relatively safe hammer, and it goes up. There's, as long as they communicated there, someone was going to get it, and that looks like it was almost certainly a strip. I think he had control of that before it got knocked out of his hands.
Yeah, that's coming in uncontested.
Now it's 2-on-2 in the end zone. And looking clean. Very sweet offense by the Italians.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it looked like they were under a little pressure there, not able to generate a lot of open underlooks. Resetting well and completing a long shot again. These are the power shots that are working for the Italians as they hold their 1-point lead, 4-3. No turns in this point.
This is fantastic work, and that was a breakthrough to Contini for the score. It's what you like to see. So Italy's certainly come out firing in this game. There's a timeout called.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's probably a great time to be taking a timeout. It's early in this first half, a lot of time to adjust. I'm a big proponent of calling a timeout early, making the adjustments early. If the Italians go on a run here, they could easily get a couple in a row, take a commanding lead, and put the US in a little bit of a hole. The US will take a timeout now when there's only a 1 point in it. They'll be able to adjust, change up what they're doing, and come out firing after this break.
So, interestingly, Italy has already got as many points as they got in the entire game against the US when they played them the first time round in the rounds. So, that's they've obviously clicked in the second half of this tournament.
Absolutely, I think they've improved incredibly. They're clearly making these adjustments. They've shown them their ability to learn from an early matchup, and they've done amazingly thus far. Quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Emma and Tom's. They've been fueling our volunteer task force here. 150 people getting this job done, making it happen, and really looking after themselves. So, lovely, delicious smoothies and bars. Not a gram of sugar in them.
Keeping us nice and fueled. Good espresso milky coffee that I had the other day from them as well.
Definitely a calf-filled machine myself. Never can have too many shots. And I'm sure the Italians here had a lot of coffee this morning. Espresso in their veins, and you can see it there. I am to got that blood pumping. They're putting out a defensive line here. We're going to come down firing. They can anticipate that the US has a plan. We'll want to maybe change something up here out of this timeout. So the Italians need to be one step ahead. They need to change their defense. They want to be throwing something out here.
Tognetti again with the pull.
It's
difficult to catch.
Just out front of the end zone, and it's moved up to Chartok here. Indeed, the Italians coming out with a poachy defensive look. The USA going to have to adapt on the field here. We haven't seen this yet in this game. So reset around. Chartok. Around the back to Law. Olsen. Chartok looking over the top. Finds the bandit. So there's a foul on the mark. He's reaching for that around break, and these Italian markers come down a bit, and that'll be uncontested.
Acres of space on that side line. USA backing themselves with the big hammer in the wind. No worries.
Italy looking to hold this post look for the moment and slowly transition as they've done now. They'll be going into a one-on-one match defense here, which is adaptable to the US offense. They've effectively stopped the US first look. Now,
Ooh, they're actually still holding that zone a bit. And oh, again, first pass, bit of a contest, but the Italians have it. USA doing a great scramble to get their offense in place. Very disciplined, know what they need to do. Everyone works 100% to try and get that defense on as soon as there's a turn. Oh, there's a call. Hard to see from this vantage point. There was two people getting hands on the disc almost simultaneously.
Hey, wait, can we talk for a second? Come on, man.
It's too close for me to be able to tell from over there. It's contested strip.
What's the highest assault count?
Maximum 6 for contested.
great chat from the
What's
players
it coming
there,
in on?
wanting to hear the perspectives of the two players involved in the call before involving others. They were the closest there, so it's good to give them time and space to air their own perspectives. As that one will go back in, coming on 6, the Italians knocking on the door.
Mine with the disc, passing it up. And the Italians work it in. Hot stuff by the Italian offense.
Yeah, ruthlessly punishing that USA mistake there, taking a break. They've extended their lead out to 2 points here. They've surpassed all their previous efforts against the US here, and they are loving it. They're getting amped about it. They've adopted this cheer, this chanting cheer from the Japanese team. It's really a good one.
They just have some really mature offense out there. Both teams are just backing themselves to get those handler passes off, reset, take safe passes. And we haven't seen what we were seeing a lot of by many teams in the early parts of this tournament particularly. I think the under-24s have a bit of a gung-ho attitude sometimes and put a lot of speculators up to contests, and this game has been relatively clean.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that adjustment. All of these players, all-stars in their home teams, in their home clubs, so often getting a bit unpunished for speculators back at home, using their amazing grabs, amazing athleticism to just make it happen in those tight contests and take those screamer grabs. But that sort of play, not going to work here. If this is elite level competition, slightest mistakes will get punished, and there's discipline required to get these breaks. The Italians up 5-3.
Yeah, it's always fun to see people who are used to being the most athletic people in their cities matching up against equal athleticism on the field at a World Championships. Here we go. That first big pull is a big out. Passing the disc to within 3 meters of the sideline, as is the regulation. USA with the frisbee.
Yet again, this same offensive line being brought out by the US, backing them in. They haven't dropped breaks in a row. It's definitely enough conditioning, enough athleticism to run 2 points in a row. As this Italian defense comes out again with that same poachy look, with a couple of players getting some tight defense. Meckler earning himself a 1-on-1 defensive matchup. As the US is advancing the disc here. Looks like they'll have a chat.
I think running it this way, and through it, you change direction, right? I caught it, I stopped, threw it, and then I changed direction. I didn't see any stoppage there.
No, he doesn't have to stop as long as he's not taking 3 steps.
Okay. Clarity on the rules. He does have to slow down, but the question here is whether or not you change direction.
I think I caught it.
Is that the call?
I had my left running this way, and then he moved that way while still running.
Okay, so my view from the sideline is that he didn't change direction. Okay.
Take your disc.
It's interesting perspective from the US players there, talking about the 3 steps rule. It's one of the USA rules. 3 steps not defined under WU24 rules. You have to be actively slowing down without changing direction, and the change of direction is the reason that travel was called.
It turns out it was a change direction with a pivot foot down. So as long as you establish your pivot foot, you can turn in any direction you like.
So that foot doesn't come up. As USA retain possession of this disc.
Oh,
It's a
and they
quick
turf
turner.
it. Okay, so the Italians with the frisbee near their end zone again, just getting some players downfield and recycling it amongst the handlers. Great work and changes of direction there. Hammer. Oh, but cannot hold on to it. That was a pretty ambitious little bullet of a hammer there. Dellavedova doesn't quite gather.
Yeah, the Italian's not going to be happy with that one. It's a short field. That's a great look for it, but got to close your hands around it. It's Chartop brings up the disc here. North with the disc. Looking for his resets in the end zone here. Bray, so happy to move it around and reset as that one floats a bit, but no defenders in the area. Italy holding this poach. And that one's eaten up. Italy with a short field to go. Can they manage it this time?
With success. That confusing defense working for them. Whoa, and a quick, beautiful regather. Not a tall player, but has some jumps.
Yeah, going up early, seeing that disc had started to pop in the wind, and the higher it goes, the more it's going to sail and flip over. So going up early and strong.
Bruno Mino with the disc. Clean out. Lots of hectic cutting going on. Waiting for their opportunity though. Wise offense, and the Americans just shutting down every opportunity in the end zone. Oh, and they get it! The Italians. Dellavedova getting that one this time.
Yeah.
Sweet work.
Absolutely, they'll be massively impressed with this one. That's 2 breaks in a row for this Italian team. They are all about it. They're fired up. They're cutting hectically. There's a lot of people in a lot of spaces, but they're just waiting for that option and trying to confuse this USA defense. The offensive line scrambling, playing one-on-one match defense there, and just not able to cover every single option. There's a nice curly flick goes down the sideline, and Italy stretches it out, 6-3.
Yeah, pretty stuff by the Italians. That's great to see. It's great to see it when a team just comes together and everything clicks. Clearly, there's been a bit of a turnaround for them during the tournament, but all of that preparation and teamwork is paying off.
Absolutely. I think they'll be able to ride this energy. They've come down with this defense, and they've got a couple of breaks with it. They're going to be interesting to see whether they hold this same defense, look to get more blocks, or they change up, not wanting to let the USA get comfortable where they are.
Yeah, so 6-3 to Italy right now. I'm not sure, but I'm going to speculate that the USA might not have been down by this many points in the tournament yet.
Yeah, I highly doubt it. I'm not sure if they've been behind at all, but this is absolutely a commanding position for the Italians to be in. This is where they want to be. They're loving it as the USA changes up their line here. Some different personnel as that pool lands in.
Goes into the stratosphere and comes back. That one hovered for a long time.
USA advancing it up the field. Taylor with the disc. Goes around. Hodling here. Finds that inside. Taylor again. Italy just in a one-on-one match here. Wood with the disc. There's a foul called, and the Italian player will reset. Trying to reach around and touch that disc. So looking to reset. Tight dump defense, and that's floated. Well grabbed. Morgenstern used his size to hold that one. This is tight defense being played on the dumps here, but USA able to inch that one forward. Wood with the disc. Finds Taylor just outside the end zone. Playing on this high side. And then shooting down low, shooting open side for that offensive hold with no turns.
Crisp, clean offense by both teams here. You really wouldn't think there was a lot of wind going on. It's quite the contrast to some of the games we've seen earlier where there was a lot of teams that were throwing some wind-affected throws. The wind is still pretty strong today, but I guess it's a bit less up and down, which is a bit more crosswind on the field.
Yeah, I think it's much less about these upwind and downwind points like we've seen before. More about the team's ability to move it into the wind and consistently swing. The Italians showing that they can do that, and then the US just a couple of throws popping up just a little bit there, but using their athleticism to get to it nice and early. You can expect them to bounce a little bit. You can see a lot of these throwers using very low release points, anticipating this pop, so that by the time it pops up, it's still only at shoulder or head height. All of these players absolutely prepared to make grabs.
Excellent. So the USA is going to have a nice big pull here. I was enjoying watching the Italians play a bit of their sort of clammy zone. We haven't actually seen that much zone in the tournament so far. There's been a lot of match play.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I think a lot of teams are looking to play a lot of transition defense. They come down and approach you look early, stop the other team for their primary look, for their pool play, and then transitioning to a match defense further down the field.
That was a fantastic pull by the USA, getting it right to the back corner of the end zone. Now Italy's forced to work their way up from inside their own end zone. And it's up. There's a bit of a height mismatch there, but oh, go if he gets it. That is an incredible gather.
Foul call.
Oh, but there's a foul call from the USA player.
They'll take a breath here. Obviously fired up with a lot of adrenaline there, causing them to go up and dive for that. So take a breath and calm down and have a discussion about what they felt happened.
You didn't feel the contact.
Okay, so you're calling foul.
Yes.
You're saying
He came into my space.
Okay. Would you like my perspective?
Yeah.
Okay. You two were both moving towards the disc. You were both very close. It didn't look to me like you changed direction. It looked clearly from the sideline. You both jumped. There was contact as you jumped, but he didn't look like he was jumping into you. It looked like it was just two players going together.
So, just to clarify the rules on that, if two players move towards the same point simultaneously, it's non-incidental. That's called an offsetting foul.
So what happens with this?
If you're saying that you both move to the same spot, offsetting fouls, the disc goes back.
There was definitely contact, right? Into the same area? That's what you're saying? Offsetting fouls?
So one went to the other.
Yeah, with three whistles. So
It could be that you.
Offsetting fouls, so we both had contact?
Yeah, but it could be that you went from behind. How can you say that I was?
You need to, guys, the conversation needs to end.
Yeah, it looks like both players going in the same space there, and as Rubenberg has told us there, those will be offsetting fouls, and the disc will go back. Italian players not a little happy with that one, but they're showcasing their ability to get that second effort block there, and the USA able to stay in that contest.
It was fun watching the height difference in that contest, and the Italian did really well to try and regather, but the USA defender didn't get a chance to get back on his feet.
Yeah, that disc sitting up a little bit there, but also floating towards that downwind sideline as Italia resets.
Great grab on the first pass there. Ooh, really good bid by the USA defense. That was really close. Italian showing a lot of confidence in getting that dump off. So unlike before, we don't see any long offerings from the Italians at the moment. Relying on foot speed cutting in.
Looks like they're attempting to work it mostly down this side, close to the camera. It's the high side of the field. And that means they'll be able to work it from there, and it'll be much more successful taking long shots. As we see that one work there, that's another long shot for the Italians, and they've made it happen there.
That was an enormous grab by Cini there. The US defender was right on him and just toes it into the end zone while taking that high disc. Fantastic confidence being shown by the Italians in all of their throwing and receiving.
Taking their fourth break of this first half, stretching out their lead. The Italians looking confident, looking strong. I think they're doing exactly what they're looking to be do here. They're playing their offense. They're working it down the high side of this field and taking those shots. Those shots staying in the field, drifting a little bit away from the camera. Shots from that low side, the far side of the field, are very difficult to keep in. They'll be dying quickly or fading out of the field.
This is enormously fun to watch. I love seeing these this really tight challenges. A lot of bids on the Ds. As you see the replay of that grab, fingertips grabbing it just in the inside the end zone.
It's great to see the players having a chat here with the game advisors, talking about exactly the interpretation of the rules and how that's working through this game. These teams quite athletic here, using their speed and explosiveness to search for those layout Ds and those layout grabs, but quite a clean game thus far. We've seen these players not looking to play with a lot of bump, not looking to play with a lot of grind, so looking for a clean, no contact game. That's what we like to see here. The Italians coming out looking to take half, and they're 7-4 up.
We're lucky to have the good help of some very experienced game advisors, including Ruben Berg, who was giving the rules clarification there, head of the WU24UC rules subcommittee.
See the Italians getting amped here, getting fired, moving up and down the sideline. A little more muted from the USA here, but they'll have the unshakable belief in themselves. A little bit of American exceptionalism on display here as the Italians firing into this game, taking control of this first half as they come down on defense here.
Tognetti with a great pull, lots of hover, giving plenty of time for the Italians to get down there.
What a perler, Australia. And the shot goes up. Williams under the disc here. Defenders in the area. Williams going up, taking a strong two-handed grab there. That's what the USA are looking to do. Find their stars when they need them. Shoot it long. USA holds with no turns, and that's 7-5 Italy.
You can see some more spectators coming in on the side here when we see the shots on the edge. While this game's going on, there's also some semi-finals going on in the women's division behind us. We've already seen the Australians went down to the US. There's a bit of excitement going on over there on the field there. We have Canada, Colombia. Canada's looking particularly happy. Not quite sure whether that's game-winning happy, but it might just be.
Yep, we'll get some reports on that as we have them. And that final happening later today, brought to you on the stream here. Quick shout out to one of our sponsors, STA Travel, the preferred travel partner of the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. If you're looking to get around Perth, catch some of the beautiful sights, check out their site and you can get a great deal. They'll take you wherever you need to go, easy as. The US coming down to defense here. Taylor with the pull. This one sliding into the back of the end zone.
Gathered by Italians. Nice confidence on the catch there. I've seen a lot of people let those first catches hit the ground. Oh, and the catch there does hit the ground. Unfortunate by Simonazzi there.
Gone over the top, and that's Williams with a punish. USA have broken back, and they have brought this game to within 1 point. That's 7-6 Italy. That's the first US break here. Done well to attack back into this game. The Italians just giving away that cheap disc, unable to play defense with only 2 meters to work with.
Yeah, you can't give those cheap ones away. The USA showing a lot more animation there after that point than they've shown for a little while. A lot of enthusiasm. They're never going to lose confidence, this USA team. They know that they can come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So many of these players from the US team, no stranger to elite level competition. A lot of them playing at college nationals, or playing with the under-20 US teams. So those teams usually performing well. The under-20 US team winning the most recent World Junior Ultimate Championships in Poland. So that'll be an invaluable experience there, working in a high-pressure situation and maintaining that consistency as the Italians come down on offense here.
Ooh, it's touched, and it rolls out the back.
Yeah, that pull That disc will be coming in at the back of the end zone there. The USA putting a lot of pressure on immediately.
That's the absolute hardest place to start, and a bit of a bumble. Okay, there's call to travel immediately. Yeah, that's one of these things. If you touch it before it rolls out, if it just rolls out, you can take it to the front of the end zone. If you touch it and it rolls out, you've got to take it from the back. Absolute hardest place to start with the Frisbee.
No space to reset backwards.
Makes your dumps really difficult. The US probably looking for a Callahan right now. Italians doing excellent work to spread out the field there. Oh, it's up! There was chances to regather there. The thrower was looking immediately for a bobble to try and get it back himself. But
Yeah.
turn.
A little dishy into the wind that just gets popped up. And the US are going to bring it in here, huddling with the disc. USA D-line looking for a break. Disc coming in, huddling, swings. Patience out the front for the US. Wood with the disc. Finds an open man in Fairfax. Goes wide, it's a floaty around. Oh, it's just over the head. Unable to be gathered. Morgenstern rightfully looking for the backup here, but Italy now with the disc at the front of the end zone for the whole field to go.
You know you've thrown it high if it goes over his head. Here it goes, and the Italians back themselves with a long one. Oh, so close.
Yeah, interesting read there. You could see that disc was fading left, being pushed by the wind. Both players choosing to go at their earliest possible opportunity rather than waiting for it to drop a bit.
Feel like they could have run a slightly straighter line and gathered that.
Yeah, would have been, could have seen a little bit of read there, but that's all right. Italy playing defense here. The USA with the whole field to work. They'll be hoping for exactly that. That'll be a drop disc in the end zone, but looks like there's uncontested. The contact affected that. Just resetting the positions they are. And it's back in, and the USA looking to huck out of this one. This one's soaring. Defenders in the area. Oh, and the Italian defender going up, going strong. Tognetti with the D there.
Equal numbers of offense and defensive under the disc there. Person who jumps highest and reads it best gets the D. That was really impressive work by the Italians. Italians showing amazing athleticism in their defense and offense here. Being able to catch up to the US. No difference in the foot race speed between these teams, really. Oh, and here we go with the wind behind that one again. Oh, but that was much better read this time. Went to where the Frisbee was going to land. Have an opportunity just outside the end zone. Can he get there? Easy. And Italians get another score. That's half for the Italians. Woo! First time that a country has taken half against the US, I'm pretty sure.
They're in a commanding position here. They've gone up 8-6. They're excited about it. They're fired about it. They're getting great blocks from the US. They're putting them out of their comfort zone. They're getting a lot of pressure here. The Italians, they're amped about it. They're cheering about it.
With reason. This is really exciting from the Italian team. They're looking extremely confident out there and playing really smart, impressive ultimate.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is shown on the field for them at the moment is that absolute belief in their game. They've shown that they deserve to be here. They believe in their ability to be winning this game. And they're taking the shots, making the grabs. And look, they're up 8-6 at half. They'll be coming out on offense after the half, starting with the disc. So if they can keep those beautiful reads, then there's absolutely potential that they could win this game. It's a beautiful upwind shot there. It looks like it's leading his man quite far, but going into the wind, sitting well. We've got Max Tenstrom down on the sideline here with the Italian coach, Davide Mori.
Thanks, Rob. I'm here with Davide Mori. Davide, how are you feeling? You're up 8-6 at half against the US in the men's final.
Okay, we are quite focused. This is the first round on the ring, the first round of the match. We won the first round. We keep the focus on the game because we want to push them, and we decided to see the tactic. I don't want to say the tactic. We decide to push them every time to try to enlarge the number of passages in the time they stay in the field. Then we push. Also we throw away. Doesn't matter. We have to defend like now we have done, and we hope to have more also long deep shot in case they stay under always. This is our ideas.
Do you feel like your ideas are working? Are you going to change anything in the second half?
No, I think for now we are inside of their mind, we are inside of the game, and we keep this hard until the end. Hopefully, if we will be enough brave with the balls, con le palle, come diciamo in Italia, until the end we win. We have to focus 1 year of work for this only one game in life after I retire.
Best of luck. Thanks, Davide.
Absolutely, that's amazing words from the Italian coach there. He's doing amazing work with this Italian team. This is one of their best performances on the world stage already. And there's absolutely another half of Ultimate to go here. We're excited to see what they can do. They've got to keep that focus. The coach with wise words there. They keep pushing this USA team. He was saying that they want to make the US throw a lot of passes, and that's why they've worked so far. They're using that poachy defense, forcing the US to do a lot and find those unforced errors every now and then, because when those big long shots come, those will be looking for end points quickly. The Italians been finding blocks here. We'll leave you with a few highlights from the first half of this game. It's truly been exciting. We'll come back in a few minutes for the second half of this matchup. Welcome back to the second half of this men's final action here. Ready to see what these teams can bring. It's 8-6, Italy are up. Italy with 5 breaks in that first point against the lone US break. It's a very intense game, 10 turnovers in 14 points. As the Italians come out on offense here.
And exciting, the Italians get to play offense, having chosen to play defense off the pull at the beginning of the game. Let's see if they can bring it in the second half. Oh, and the Italians have a misread, a miscommunication. The long cutter is cut back in before that throw went up. USA gathers, even though the Italians made a fantastic job of attempting to get back to it. And the US puts it up immediately on the return into acres of space, but looks like it's out the sideline.
Oh, the Italians getting a bit unpunished there. They're following their coach's instructions. They're going to be brave with the ball, and that's absolutely what they've done. That shot going a very long way, but you could see that first hesitation as he wound up and then held it and then shot it again. So it's got to be straight away or not at all. It's Italy going on offense.
Yeah, the US managing to find acres of space deep. So it's a good option, but just not quite the execution they were looking for. Italy looking smooth. We have Angelo with the frisbee, dumping it back to Laffy. Working backwards a bit, looking calm though, just waiting for their chance. And an interesting choice of dump. Not the conventional, but works perfectly well. They're using the field. Oh, a great bid by the American defender there. Gasparini puts a wild one up over all of the players on the field, essentially, unable to be gathered.
Yeah, Chini coming under that one, looking to attack. It's not a bad look, but the wind pushing that one probably a little bit further than he thought.
Maybe just a little bit too imaginative in this wind.
USA looking to come back into this game now. Van Dusen with the disc looks long, and that's incomplete.
Italy grabs it back immediately. Tries to fight some fast play before the Americans have a chance to establish their defense. But the Americans are extremely good at scrambling and getting in position quickly. Break throw, can they get any swings off this? No, nothing there, but, and it's picked up!
That's an incredible inside break from the Italian.
Angelo with the score.
Mine with the shot there, finding his man, putting that low, but trusting his receiver to pull that one up. So it's been amazing to see the Italians pull away. There's 3 turns in that point. It's one of the most turns we've seen in any of these points, but the Italians managing to slot that one in there.
So the Italians are up by 3 points. And I think it's probably fair to say that this was not necessarily expected by many people at the beginning of this game, considering that the USA beat Italy 15-4 in the rounds.
Yeah, indeed. The Italians have shown remarkable adaptability. They've overcome teams that bested them before, and they'll be coming in with a lot of fire here. They're well rested this morning. Definitely went to bed early last night and have just brought the fire that they needed here. They've taken out an early lead in this game and managed to hold on. Their dominant performance in the first half, 5 breaks to the lone US, so it's going to be amazing to see what the US can do. US no slouch themselves, absolutely considered one of the powerhouse nations of the ultimate world, collecting the gold medal 2 years ago in London. We'll be looking to secure that again here as that pool sails out of this upwind sideline and doesn't curl back.
That sailed out really early. You can see the USA players on the sideline over here pointing at the sideline. It's only about 10 meters out from their own end zone up there. So there's no brick this time. They're bringing it all the way up the sideline.
And it's the high sideline. So the Italians are going to get very punished for this. There's potentially trying to do too much with their pulls there. In this point in the game, you want to be playing really conservative. You can't afford to yield such a short field. Chartok bringing the disc in. USA with about 15 meters to go. Chartok resetting. Olsen with the disc in. USA offensive line getting to work as they advance it down to the low side. Bray with the disc. Resets to Olsen. Buck up to Bray. And that shot goes long, and they've found the hooded bandit himself in the front of the end zone there. USA with an offensive hold. It's not a great pull from the Italians, and so they've given the US quite an easy one to work in. And they've brought it to 7-9.
Hey, we were talking earlier about the importance of those pulls. If you can get a good position off the first pass of the point, puts you in a really strong position.
Yeah, and typically we would consider the sideline to be a bit weak and not a lot of movement, but this high sideline, the one close to the camera, is a great position to be in. The wind is pushing from behind the camera across the field, and so shots going in that direction are much easier to execute, much less likely to pop up in the wind. And if you're taking a deep shot, you want it to be fading. It's always going to fade away from the camera. So if you're shooting from this close sideline, it'll float down there and stay in the field. If you're shooting from that far sideline, it's going to be very difficult to keep it in and find your man.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the high and low terminology, I love that one. If you're throwing downwind, it's like throwing downhill. You're throwing from the high side to the low side.
Absolutely, and we could see, particularly this Italian team, really aggressively working that high side. You can see that they're looking off a few of their open dumps, going to that low side, and they're aggressively taking shots and cutting all the way to this high side here.
So a really bladey pull from the US. Uncatchable, but this time no knocking it out the back of the field. Italians looking nice and confident, cleaning that up. Nice gather on the break side. Fast movement being important in these. You've got to take open passes. You can't be sure that you're going to get another chance. Really crisp passing from the Italians, and it goes up. But the Italians showing incredible speed at the end there. I thought the US defender had gotten in front of him.
Yeah, it looked very, very close, and indeed it was. Amazing to see neither of those players bidding there with just the incredible pace there, holding his ground, managing to use his body, get it in that position first. If the US defender was looking to get a bit on that, he would have had to go around the Italian player. Obviously not going to be able to come through the back. I mean, incredible foul there in the end zone, and sure they'd be uncontested in the Italian disc. Anyway, so USA showing great body control. The Italians with a great long shot, great athleticism. And they've held there. That's 10-7.
As you see the replay there, beautiful work by Angela, the spirit captain, showing a lot of individual spirit to get past the US defender and grab that frisbee.
You've got to make it happen in these games. I think there's a lot of adrenaline here. These players are moving at absolute top speed, and there's long time conditioning. I've absolutely been following the Italian team on Instagram, and all I see is them lifting weights in the gym doing work, and I see them pumping those getaway sticks today and making it happen. And speeding down the field, and that's 10-7. No breaks after half yet. Is that pull sitting again? Just fading out just at the end there, but USA will like to take a brick. Italians on defense. USA bringing out their same offensive line here, backing their systems to get it done.
The Italians pulling out at what looks like it's going to be their poachy zone.
Chartok with the disc here. Advances to Olsen. Chartok finding space inside this cup. Olsen using that leap on the reception of the disc to gain a couple extra meters. They find Law. Back inside. Meckler to Chartok. Back to Meckler. Looking for that around shot. Knocking on the door here. USA looking for an easy goal to knock that one in, and the Italian mark biting quite hard on that break. He can't let those breaks off. He's fallen over and opened up that space for a USA hold. The Italians can't be too disappointed with that one. They've still got their lead. They've been not many turns after half, and all offensive holds so far.
We're talking about the training programs of these teams. I was talking to the Italians earlier, and they started their recruitment here well over a year ago with 100 people in November 2016. Since then, they've had 10 training camps and a pretty intensive gym program to get them into the shape they're in at the moment. And you can see it on the field. There's a lot of speed, athleticism, huge hops.
If they were ever going to do well in this tournament, like they have, it'll be on the back of preparation and hard work. It's interesting to note the difference there in the lead-up. Italians with 10 training camps to the US's 1. They've been in town for a week.
The Italians also went over to the US for the US Open. So 13 of the players on this Italian team have played the US Open together to get good preparation as a team.
Playing with CUSB, with the top Italian club team. So great to see a lot of these players there, but the US team mentioning that they have seen a few of these Italian players before.
The Italians have it. Some bidding there from the US, but well and truly behind. There's a couple of Italian options to gather that one in. Tonelli, the captain, grabs it down. Catch it if you can. Nice breaks out, working it around the US defense. That was really quick motion. Still working it down the break side. Oh, and can he regather? No, Max it, almost gets it, but now the US are off to... Nope, they've paused, taking a deep breath.
We're going to play through their structure here. USA have got a long way to go here, but Van der Mortel on the line here, a lot of pressure, and he shoots long. It's going to be a tough grab. US managing to make it happen under pressure here. Van Dusen with the disc. Tough options to complete. There's the captain, Jonah Wish, Pittsburgh player. And just to make that resetting again, Van der Mortel with it. Back to Mish. USA looking long. Active Italian mark. That one's just kept in. Barker with the disc here. A lot of pressure, US resetting backwards. Mish flips that one over the top. It's a little wobbly, but Van Dusen managed to pull that one in as he shoots wide, going downwind. Carefully reeled in by Hodeling, and he shoots into the goal. And that's a US break. They brought it back within 1.
The USA absolutely using the entire width of the field that game. Catches being made within inches of the sideline on both sides. Well kept in. And then precision at the end. Gets the goal.
That's the advantage we see. The USA doing a great job of keeping it high side as well. It's a great adjustment that we've seen from their offense. Able to work it along that high side, and the Italians having to protect that there. And then that opens up the far side of the field for big, wide shots. Very difficult to guard. USA completing there. Getting themselves back within 1 point, back on defense, and with an opportunity to level the scores if they can get a break here.
You see on the replay that beautiful gather by the US. Full sprint, outstretched layout to clean up a slightly messy disc. But you expect that athleticism from these guys.
Absolutely. They've shown it again and again and again. And you look, they've got to make it happen. They'll get flat out like a lizard drinking. It's what we expect at this elite level, and it's what you have to do. There's great offenses here across the board on both of these teams, so defense and offense alike needing to give it everything to make it happen.
I don't know how high that frisbee went, but it took a long time to come back down. Plenty of time for the US to get there and have complete defensive coverage before the first pass. Well, now with Tognetti looking very pressured. Oh, the US has really stepped up the defense here, making it much harder for the Italians to get any passes off.
Yeah, interesting choice there. He's had it on the high side, but a big flat mark, not enabling him to shoot for any distance, and the US guarding those unders very difficultly. As Cody Wood brings it in. US with a short field to work. US resetting to Williams, back to Wood. Italians not switching on the mark there and being broken around. Back to Wood. No mark on. All right. Mark's back on. Wood with the disc. Count rising. Resets to Williams. He's doing it a lot here for the Italian team. Morgenstern with the disc. Just out the front. Still no mark. Williams claimed that he hopped it in. And there's travel call. The Italian player's there, pointing at where his feet were. Williams not resetting the disc to where he was. And he'll have another crack at this one here. USA with about 30 centimeters to go. Got to display patience and discipline here to put it in, but that's something they pride themselves on. Italians needing to bring a big fiery defensive here, as it looks like it's a violation.
Come col Giappone, giusto bene.
He's right in front of you.
Bruno, non farti concentrare. What? Okay. Bruno! Bruno, chi se ne frega? Chi se ne frega, Bruno?
I don't understand what you're saying, really. You're to my side, and then you said one, and I can't do that. No. I'm right here. I said I do this. I can't do that. I'm right next.
Can we just, I think we should just take a breath.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying,
calm down,
and then tap, so I can have that clear cut.
Okay.
I'll just tap it.
That's okay. Let's take a breath. It's hard to just take a breath. We're going to tap it in once we get off the field, and we're going to start play, yeah? Sound good?
Wait, let us get up.
Looked like Williams' feet were down outside the end zone there. It's going to be trying to hop that one in, but they'll reset the disc here. Williams still with not very far to move, but the Italians putting on a tight mark there and generating a turn.
Italian,
There's been a call.
Oh, there's been a call. Foul somewhere. So a lot of fire in both of these teams at the moment. A lot of passion on the field.
What's the call, sir? Uncontested foul. No worries. Thank you.
Uncontested foul on the throw there.
Williams will bring it back in on 0 there. Italians not managing to keep that clean block, but they'll be amped that they're able to get it here. They'll be looking for another one. Williams looking for a quick score. He can't be getting rushed here. Turnover here. Be crushing for the United States as that one soars high. Oh, and he's taking it high and he's stretched down with his toes, managing to put him down right in the front of the end zone there as the USA level the scores at 10-10.
It's an even game, 10-all. Very exciting.
Timeout call.
Again, the USA demonstrating that you can get, you can score by using the entire width of the field. Very effective. And now a timeout called.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. I mean, the US attacking that open side, that high side, the side closest to the camera a lot. Obviously, the Italians having to commit a lot of defensive resources to guard that. If they yield that up, they will get scored on. They can't leave that open. You have to commit to defending that open side. But of course, given that wind, they're able to stretch that throw out. And the Italians obviously on the wrong side to make a defensive block there. 2 breaks in a row from the US. Italy coming out on offense, and they're going to have to respond.
Quick report from the other fields as well. We have a report back from the Colombia-Canada game. Canada did win that semi-final, which is a turnaround because the game immediately before that had been a game which Colombia had won to make it a Colombia-Canada semi-final. So now Canada's won that through to a final against the US in the women's division.
So it's going to be a cracker of a final later today. The defending champions, Japan, are able to make the semis, coming out the bottom of a tie with the Australians. The Australians getting up on Universe many days before, what seems like an age ago, earlier in pool play in the women's division. So get excited for that later. USA, Canada, women's division matchup.
And bronze medal match later against the other two, the Australians and the Colombians. Exciting, the only 2 countries to make the semi-finals in every division were Australia and the USA.
True, USA putting in a typically dominant performance and definitely in a strong position here. They'll be firing, they'll be excited of themselves. That's 2 breaks in a row, but the Italians able to break the US offense repeatedly in the first half. That's going to see if they can come out with a calm and considered offense of their own. They've got to be putting this one in here. They cannot yield the US at the moment. If the US are able to collect the lead, it could be absolutely punishing for the Italians as they advance it downfield.
Laffy making a great gather from the pool, getting the play moving really quickly, which has been key so far to this offense. All the way up the field, almost. And it gets put up. Not sure if the receiver was fully expecting that, but had an opportunity. But strong US defense there. I think that felt like a bit of a speculator. Is it not usual for them to put the discs up to that much of a contest? Maybe a little bit of frustration showing on the Italian team.
Yeah, interesting. The Italians doing a really great job of threatening that deep shot, turning under and getting that under space. But the US defenders, who are marking the players waiting in that stack, waiting for making cut. US defenders are coming out open into that lane to double cover that open cut. Of course, that leaves a player free in the lane. As the US shoots early, yielding a short field to the Italians here. Can they put it in?
Very exciting stuff. You can see the USA player very frustrated immediately. And Italy capitalizes. Nice little pretty layout. Really not too much effort there for that catch, even though you did have to hit the turf. Looking good.
Yeah.
Italy back in the lead.
The Italian thrower doing a great job, leading him out into space there, trusting the athleticism of his receiver, because if you put it close, if he was trying to make that an easy catch, that'd be giving the USA defender an opportunity to get a bit on it. And you can't be giving the defense opportunities because, as we saw just moments before, USA defense is absolutely tight, absolutely ruthless. Eric Taylor coming up with the bid there. So, 2 turnovers each way. The Italians managing to hold on there. It's 11-10 Italy.
Yeah, the receiver's just put it out in front of me. I'll die for that. Much better than having to put it into a contest.
Absolutely. There's a lot of separation there. Doesn't matter if it's a few inches off the ground. As long as the defense isn't there, they'll make those grabs.
Exciting stuff. The crowd's gathering on the sideline even more so as this game progresses, and the semi-finals are now all complete on the other fields for the women's division.
Absolutely. It's exciting to see this game heat up. This has been super, super tight. We've seen this a few times in the men's division. Game staying tight for a long way, and occasionally teams managing to pull out to a lead late in the game. So the Italians hoping to do that here, and the US hoping to get back on top. They are down just 1 break now.
The Italians were looking pretty casual as they were jogging down there. They could obviously see that the disc was going to land out, even though it only landed up by an inch in the end.
Well, you know, all these players, great read on the disc. Chartok on the brick mark. Finds his player under. Bray with the disc. Law. Being marked tight. Not a lot of options. Oh, amazing defensive bid. Bray holds on and shoots the hammer over the top. And there's Italians in the area, but the second effort, the Bandits sneaks one away. USA, 4 meters out. Law with the disc. Looking for that around break. Italians aggressively marking these insides here. The laser inside flick comes out anyway. And the Bandit snakes a goal past the Italian defense. USA hold, and that's even. 11-11.
We have a game. This is so exciting. Really great to see this as a serious, intense competition. Now, points in it here.
Absolutely. The Italians only up 1 break at this point. If they keep holding and holding and holding, the universe point here. As we come to the tight end of the game here, everything starts heating up, starts getting very intense. Remember that HBF Stadium is just around the corner if you're looking to cool off, get in the shade. There's a pool and a creche, all sorts of wonderful facilities there. Done an amazing job sponsoring this tournament and helping us out, looking after our players.
It's been very useful for the spectators, actually. There's a lot of people here who are training for their own seasons, despite being coaches and mentors of the players here. So there's been a few gym sessions and pool sessions and things in between the games.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these players will be preparing for the World Ultimate Club Championships in Ohio later this year. So the training never ends. There's always more Frisbee to be played, so this will be a great milestone on the road for a lot of these club players, and they'll be representing not their nations, but their hometown clubs. CUSB from Italy will be in attendance. A number of our American club teams will be there. It'll be amazing to see which of these young stars will be represented on the highest level.
There they go, the Italians with the disc. A slightly shorter pull from the US this time, and they put it up. Good opportunity, have space and position, but do they read it well? Oh, oh, beautiful second bid by the Italian offensive player coming out from in the back there. I think that was Farina.
Yeah, it's amazing defense by Warner. He's come under that disc, he's held his position there. The Italian player hoping that disc would die a little earlier than it did, but it sailed wide and he was able to hold that position and not let the Italian get in position as the US goes the other way, but maybe he'll try and use 3 hands next time.
Wow, that was just like a pressure catch, like not really any pressure on that catch. Should have been able to gather it in, but now Italy has another chance. Attempts to get it back. Cool, calm and collected. Italy. Bit static downfield though, not a hell of a lot happening. Great gather by Tommaso there. One of the youngsters on the team, just 19 years of age.
Warner showing his amazing defensive prowess there, reading that pass, coming out of the stack and getting that block. We've seen the US players do an amazing job of expecting the Italian offense here, coming out of the stack for blocks. The Italians not quite able to change it up and adapt to what they're doing. As the US go the other way, they're knocking on the door here. Van der Mortel resets to Williams. Back to Van der Mortel. They're advancing it to the high side here as Wood.
And just a misfire downwind.
Yeah, it's a cheap turnover.
We've seen a few of the dumps in that direction just go a little bit too far for their defenders. Most of the layouts have had to be that way to gather it in. The Italians now with the chance. Laffy with the Frisbee. Italians getting set up with their offense.
Italian players looking under pressure here late in this point. There not as many cuts coming and they're not coming as fast. So undisciplined cutting, looking for a very difficult shot like that. The US defense is mounting on them, potentially frustration building in this game. The offensive intensity is not what it has been earlier in this game, and they're looking for harder shots and longer inside breaks, and it's not working for them at the moment.
Yeah, a few turnovers in this game. You can see both teams sucking in the breaths. You can even see some of the Italians gesticulating for a timeout. And indeed, a timeout is called. USA calls a timeout to gather their breath to continue this point with a fresh offense.
Yeah, I don't think the Italians will be happy with that. We're seeing them, they're running this vertical stack quite disciplinedly. It's down the middle of the field, and when the Italian players have the disc on the high side, they're able to attack deep, really threatening that shot, and then turn under into open space. The US doing a great job of adapting their defense, though, coming out of the stack to double cover those unders and yielding the deep space a few times to the Italians, but the Italians with a disc on the low side, often if that undercut is covered, they're having to go around and move that disc away from the camera, and they're unable to take those inside shots nearly as much. There's no downside reset, and they're not willing to take these long cross-field upwinders. They're afraid that those might pop in the wind. It's quite reasonable.
As we just finished watching some of those highlights from just that point, really impressive to see. I was particularly impressed by the Italian player doing an enormous layout to try and clean up the scraps after the disc went curving over the head of his compatriot. I have to admit, this is one of my pet peeves of seeing so many Frisbees flying over people's heads when they're curving with the wind. Got to run that straight line to where the disc is going to be, no matter where your defender is.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's great, it's great defense, making their players go as early as possible, threatening that block, but often the players just getting sucked into what the defense is doing, thinking, I have to go before the defense here, rather than making their own read based on their own ability and going when they want to. So USA doing a great job of making the Italians go when they're not ready and pushing them out of their comfort zone here, making them do difficult things and generating turnovers that way.
Yep, first job on offense. Make sure you're in a position to catch it. USA with the Frisbee.
Take off that big shot there. on their inside line. Break throws. Break them out of the static here. Thompson with the disc advances it to Williams. He's been doing a lot for this US team here. One of the rocks on offense and defense here. Thompson with the disc. Resets upwind. Wood fighting it inside. Warnier with the disc. Looks off Wood, that one sails. But he's got his receiver on the end there. The US has done it. They've gone back into Italy's face and they've taken the lead for the first time in this game. It's 12-11 USA. Italy unable to work their offense. The US adaptive defense, players all over the field here. Italy not wanting to drop out of this game. They need to be bringing the offensive fire. They need to be finding those second options.
Yes, you can see some of the Italians on the sideline there. Body language is hands on knees, panting. Bit of disappointment after that point, but we've got to keep that body language positive if you want to win. Get your chest up. Know that you can do it.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of offensive holds in this half, but the US 3 breaks here to the Italians 0. So the US doing great work to get back on top in this game here, but the Italians not adapting their offense. The US playing some great defense, using their field vision, and the Italians not able to punish that. If a player comes off you in the stack and they're double covering those unders, that means there's a player who's ready to go and attack somewhere else. They're not covered, but the Italians not really looking for that at the moment. What I want to see from them later in the second half is when the US are double covering those cuts, they need to be sending somebody deep. They've shown they're not afraid of the long shot. They need to be utilizing it here. They haven't shot long nearly as much as they have previously. Not had as much success.
Italy with the frisbee. This is anyone's game. Big one. Oh, and a fantastic gather by the Italian offense. That was huge by Pavane. Well, looking for the big one. Pavane again making a great cut in space on the open side. Getting it out, break side, making space for themselves on the field. Pick called. I was about to say a little bit of jogging in the backfield there, but that was because there was a pick going on.
The USA, so they're forcing to this low side here, yielding the Italians those passes away from the camera, so that when they get down there, they're absolutely locked in. The Italians not sort of working down the high side, but they're at the halfway point here in this vertical stack. Not able to move it up.
No, there's no...
I'll go 4.
It's not 2 seconds. If he stops counting immediately,
I stopped.
Resume at the same count. If he's late stopping, then we might...
I wasn't late stopping. I said 4 and stopped. I should be saying 5.
Can we agree on 3 perhaps? Can we agree on 3 perhaps?
Set 3.
Setting 4.
So stalling 4?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, just come.
Just a discussion there about which stall count to bring it back in on after the pick. Bit shaky, but Italy gathers. Oh, that was an amazing regather there, Tognetti. That had to lay full out. The disc was not intended for him. Okay, working it, getting it out. It's just hard match D. Pressure everywhere on the field.
Yeah, interesting to see. The Italians there taking that downwind option much more than they did early in the first half. That USA handler defender sagging off, yielding that throw, but the Italians taking the open shot as the USA looks to go the other way. That's an absolute dime ball collected amazingly by Jake Feller. He's been having a blowout of a tournament, just tearing it up as the US. 2 meters to go, looking for a second break in a row.
I think we have a pick.
Looks like the players are discussing based on their gesticulations.
I only touched your arm because you opened your arm.
You're on my back. I'm going to contest it.
I was not on your back though, man.
Bruno,
I was on your arm.
Big spaces. Taylor, be ready. Cody.
So a bit of contact from the mark on the disc was the call.
I think, yeah, the mark
On the
calling
player.
that one, thinking that he was pushed out of position by the thrower's hand. There's a lot of give going, and Mish trying to get open there, but the mark putting a lot of pressure on the USA resetting, but finally getting that around shot, but no one there to abuse it. The Italians with an invaluable opportunity to level the score here. They've got to look after it. They've got to find this offense here.
You can see what the US was thinking there. The cutter from the stack initiated a cut to the break side, but then pulled out just as the throw went up.
Yeah. The Italians need to change their offense here. They're taking the bait. They're moving downwind onto that low sideline where the US is trapping them. It's making their upfield throws harder. They need to be moving more to the high side, need to be breaking these marks and keeping that space free.
Yeah, one thing that you've seen successful teams here, usually they make a lot of space around the Frisbee. Use the whole field. When it gets too cluttered, especially in the sideline, too many people helping out, it becomes too difficult to get it off the sideline. Italians doing well though now. Contini gets the dump pass off, and it's going up. There's a US defender there, but do they read it? Yes, the US has it.
Warnier with yet another block. And quite a low throw.
He thought he was up.
Okay, come. 16. If you're making the call, come here.
I saw the grass move, guys. The grass
back.
moved.
It's fine. It's fine.
Player closest to the disc, having a good look at that one, but closest there, seeing that I was down, so that's good spirit to call his own disc down there, and he's yielded the short field to the Italians. They've turned it over here they need to be working well and not cramming it in this close side if they want to score here.
Italy has every opportunity here, and that's in! Quick little inside out, and they score. Tognetti.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there. It looked like a US player had a hand on that. Got a full 5 fingers to it, but unable to get the discount as the Italians taking a big two-handed grab, got a big firm hold of that one and just ran away with it, took it with him.
And the score is back to even. Wow, that was huge. The US got a superb D on the end zone and then unfortunately just immediately turfed the Frisbee. It was a close one, but it looked like on the replay it definitely did hit the ground before it got to the players' hands.
Yeah, Italy struggling a lot there. That's an offensive hold from them. And if it's going to be that difficult an offense all time with that many turns, I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain it. It's a long game. We're coming late here. It is indeed a 100-minute game to 15 as we have just passed the 90-minute mark. So reaching the dying stages here. Italians needing to find a lot more offensive consistency here. They cannot keep yielding the disc to the US that much and expect to be getting it back. Coming out on defense here, looking for a break to seal the game. US advancing calmly. Chartok with a disc in the center field. Looks off Williams, finds Olsen, advancing the high side. Back to Chartok. The Italians switching to mitigate that give-go.
Fantastic switch by the Italians there. Very polished teamwork.
Moving a lot, not getting a lot of options. Finally finding Law down on that sideline. He banded himself in the middle of the field. He shoots long. That one's going to sit in the wind. He's got Williams underneath. And that's the grab they're looking for. That's an amazing athletic play. Williams known for that. He'll be doing a lot for this team here, but the Italians can't be too sad with that. They put a lot of good defense on around the disc there. Cutter's able to get free in the end zone there. Williams doing what he does best up in the air.
Simonazzi shouldn't be too disappointed with that defense. He got himself into a really good position and put a really strong D. Difficult to do any better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. He was right where he needed to be. If he was behind Williams, there was no chance he was getting to it. So he's done basically all he could there. USA up 13-12. Italy needing a break to get back on serve here. A lot of holds lately. Italy haven't broken in the second half here, but they've managed to hold strong with the US. They'll need a late push if they're to take the lead here, but they were to break the US 5 times in the first half. Let's see if they can do it again in the dying minutes of this men's final here at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championship. This has been a ripper of a match here. And it's heating up. It's getting closer at the end. Italy needing a late push to get in front.
Let's see which team has the legs and the energy to polish off this game. USA ready to pull. Italy with their hand up. Here it goes.
Putting on a strong defensive line here, the US. White pulling yet again. This one a little flatter.
Italy with the frisbee. Catching it in the end zone. Getting some good ground with the first pass. Laffy puts a beautiful swing out to Tonelli, now in the center of the field. Working it beautifully. Oh, sweet inside out there. Just sneaking it past. Good patience, doesn't put it to the contest in the end zone, takes the time, gets the dump out. Just recycling amongst the handlers. Really smart, polished offense here. Oh, I was really surprised that one didn't come out. And they're in.
That's amazing patience. That's much better offense than the Italians. That disc landing way on the low side, that pull coming in, putting them in a tough position, but absolutely prioritizing their swings to the high side. Advancing it all the way towards the camera side, moving it into the wind there, and then able to work the US marks very effectively, the fakes. We saw the US diving left and right to put pressure on those throwers. The Italians taking the time they needed, waiting for that open window, and then sliding it in for an easy goal. Not a single contest at that point.
So polished, so precise. That was really pretty to see. Not a lot of speculators going up in this game, as we've said before. They're just really relying on confident offense. And we can see that the scoreboard now, with 13 all and time cap having not yet been reached, it's definitely a game to 15.
Yeah, it's incredible work. These teams, as a timeout's called, they're going to collect themselves, have a chat. Italy needing to find a break here. If this all holds till the end here, it'll come down to a universe point. It's not the situation they want to be in. They will not be starting with the frisbee. So you're going to look to throw out a different defense here, shake up the US, move them out of their comfort zone, find something new. Italian offense is looking a lot better, but the US offense has been calm and consistent in the late stages of this game.
USA here looking a lot more ready than the Italians. Italians are in their huddle. USA are already 7 on the field, ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's intense. The US playing strictly offensive defense lines here. This is the same offense line that we've seen every offensive point, bar one. Midway through the first half, the US changed up their offense after they were broken twice in a row. So Italy putting out a strong line here. They'll likely be playing their best players, running them into the ground here. Like their coach Davide Mori was saying before, you win this game and then you can retire. They will leave it all on the field here. This is the last game of the tournament, win or lose. They will be having a big one this evening.
There's a lot of enthusiasm from the sideline now, yelling from all sides, all countries on the sideline watching this match. And the pull goes up. USA to get the disc.
That's a nice floater. It's sailing to the low side there, not a lot of hang time, so the US able to advance it. Meckler with the disc. Italian defense playing very tight here, very close. Taking a lot of effort to advance it up to White. White looking inside, unable to find Williams in the traffic there. Finds Chartok. Williams with a reaching grab behind him and advancing it quickly up the field to an open player. The Italian defender had come off to mark the deep. The US have stabilized here. The Italians have found their marks. Williams with the disc.
Oh,
Williams looking around and there's a foot come up there.
Foul called, uncontested.
Italian player realizing he's probably kicked that disc whilst it was still in Williams' hand.
Great spirit there, uncontesting that foul, knew what had happened.
Particularly in this late stage of the game. This is when it counts. Williams brings that disc in, finds Law on the low side of the field here. Italian mark not putting a lot of pressure on there, letting those rounds off. US unable to hop that one in as they go to high side. Interesting to see the Italian defense there, letting a lot of those high swings towards the high side off, potentially hoping that the wind catches one of them and pops it up. Not rather than forcing the US down to the low side and attempting to trap them there. So US with a hold, and they go up 14-13. It's been amazing to see this game. It's been crisp. It's been brought to you by the Spud Shed, the food market. Donating the fruit, keeping these volunteers and players fresh up and about it, avoiding the scurvy that could potentially set in on a diet of purely miggering. A lot of these college players not looking after themselves and relying on their coaches to make sure they eat and drink enough water, because all they're about is that frisbee. Italy coming out on offense here, needing a clean hold to force a universe point.
It's time. Got to bring it now. It's 14-13 to the USA. You can't ask for a tighter game than this.
Absolutely. Be nice to see the Italians put one in here as they put out yet another incredibly strong line. A lot of players here. This is game point for the USA. Italy's done an amazing job of pushing the USA, taking out a lead at halftime, but USA fighting back in this second half to have a 1-point lead, giving themselves an opportunity to collect a gold medal now.
The Italians almost taking too long to gather their line out there. But now the frisbee's up and they have their chance. Let's see what they can do with it. Passing first through Carlotta. Bit static downfield. Almost a pick happening there, but not called. And able to recycle it.
Italy moving it to the high side now.
Pagliavello is getting that emergency pass there. The defense is looking great. Maybe not quite enough pressure and scramble from the Italians. Feels like it's really calm out there. Getting to a pretty high stall count. But just playing clever offense. I know I have this. My teammates are going to get free from me. I don't have to put up anything speculative.
Trust and calm is what they need here. Doing a great job to consistently attack that high side of the field. The Italians managed to swing. They're looking off that open look on the open side. The USA being forced to respect it. Still forcing down onto that low side, and the Italians faking that off and having their players come around for an upwind swing.
Laffy with the frisbee. After the pick call, comes back in. Oh, it's a high one, but he's got it, and it goes up. Does he have the legs? It could float. Oh, and it's just too far, millimeters. Oh, is that it for the Italians? Will the USA be able to use this turn? They have it in their hands to win the game.
It's a great look for the Italian handler. That's what they're looking for. They needed to be brave for the ball. He had his man with separation out the back there. Just put a lot on that one. Unable to reel that one in. Looked like he had a bit at it. Didn't quite close his hand. Italians have gone to a backhand force here. Forcing down onto the low side. Trying to trap the Americans there. It's a quick break. Yields the high side. Thompson with the disc. Morgenstern with the disc. He's got a man deep. Elects not to throw it. Resets. Wood with the disc. He's looking long. Wood. Morgenstern in the area. And that's an uncontested grab. And they've done it. There's a turnover on the last point there. And the USA have gone downwind for the score. Italy cannot be too disappointed with the result here. They put so much pressure on the United States, soared out to a lead. They've done better against the US juggernaut than any other team here. They've done an amazing job here in the gold medal match.
Oh, that was spectacular. US pulls it out, but Italy did amazingly well there in that game. That was, as you said, the highest points scored that anyone had taken from the US in this tournament in the men's division. And you can see the Italians are actually pretty still pumped up. I think they're pretty impressed with their own performance there.
I'm pretty impressed with their performance. Clearly, they're just flying around this. They were all over this game.
Oh, as we see that replay of the fingertips just missing that grab and the layouts for the Italians. And the final pass goes up. Offense has space and makes no mistake of that.
Yeah, the Italians, they'll be sad, they'll be a little bit disappointed that they weren't able to take that grab and force that universe point, but it was always going to be a tough ask to get up against the US, and they did an amazing job. They pushed them to their absolute limits. They were able to make the US look uncomfortable in that first half. The US adapting well, the Italians just yielding the lead, yielding just a couple of breaks in the second half before the US were able to get a tight lead. And the Italians just ever so slightly too slow to adapt. And the US with a ruthless punish on that game point, dropping that into Morgenstern for the gold medal goal.
So the Italians looking pretty happy about it. Just went through, both teams did the full handshake. Lots of good spirit in this game shown, I think.
Absolutely, it was great. This thing was quite a well-spirited game. There was a bit of calls, a little bit of a discussion, players getting very heated about it, but for the vast majority of the time, taking the breath, offering their perspectives, and then finally arriving at a nice resolution. One that all the teams can be happy with here. It's been an amazing final here in the men's divisions. Italy coming out into this game, the absolute underdog. USA, the defending champions here. Italy able to put a lot of pressure on the United States, using a lot of different defenses, getting a lot of breaks early in this first half on the back of some incredibly athletic plays. USA holding on, keeping it within 2. Italy breaking and taking half 8-6. Or coming out of half, a lot of offensive holds, a lot of trading of points, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, 1, and then the US finding a break to go up 10-9, and then a second break to level it 10-10, and from there, Italy unable to get in front again, and a third USA break in the second half, enough to put them in the lead there. Italy doing their best, adjusting their offense late in the second half, but unable to get a break on the US to get back in the lead. Able to get back into the rhythm, but not able to break the US offense, which was collected and efficient all through the second half.
Such an amazing highlights reel we get to see from this game. Just a single game with play after play of athletic, fantastic bids.
Truly a testament to the effort that these players have put in over years of preparation for this. They've done everything they can to arrive at this point, put themselves in a position to succeed here. The Italians absolutely cannot be disappointed with their performance. Did better against the United States than any other country here at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships, really showcasing their class. This is a culmination of an immense amount of effort, hours and weeks in the gym.
And a massive congratulations to both of the teams here who did such a fantastic job.
The United States absolutely just that little bit more consistent, just adapting their defense and finding those Italian breaks. The Italians able to respond with their offense late in the second half and clean it up and get a lot of holds, but not able to break through this clinical and consistent USA offense. Not able to regain the lead, and the USA breaking for the final score of just a fingertips away from forcing a universe point, and the USA take away the gold medal 15-13.